Dare to, dare to, dare to, dare to elevate through the challenges. Might bend, but baby, you won't break. It's okay to make all your mistakes.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Dare to Evolve, a platform that is brought to you in order to encourage you, inspire you, and of course, share some wonderful stories with some wonderful people. And this evening, I am honored to have with me a very special guest that goes by the name of Gerline Isaac. For some reason, for years, all I've been doing is calling you Geraldine. I apologize. So, Gerline Isaac, thank you for accepting.
Thank you for having me. There's no apology needed, necessary. Most people don't even know me by the name Gerline or Gerlin. They know me by Lily, affectionately Lily. So thank you for having me again.
Thank you for accepting. Again, I'm very much honored to be able to exchange with you as I explain the whole process and the platform that I'm bringing forth, where we have no taboo conversation, very much down the line of having these candid conversation and everyone be as comfortable as possible and we learn how to grow and inspire each other as we move forward. So, who is Geraldine?
Who is Gerlin? Gerlin is a multifaceted person. That's why maybe Lily and Gerlin fits because it depends on the day. You may or may not get one or the other. But just to come back to your question, I am a mother of two currently. I am a lover of life. I am an artist, how do you say, a hospitality and tourism novelist or novelist, they would say. And now I'm walking in the shoes of the founder of Vice and the directress, with the role of directress of Vice, St. Martin.
You know, you're speaking, and I'm saying this is a woman with multiple casquettes, as you say in French, and you say it so eloquently, so calm, cool, and collective. And I'm saying that again, this is a lot on your plate. Again, I mixed up just now with saying Geraldine, so we're gonna get it right, Jarline. What can you share with us about your story growing up? And of course, I know a lot of people know you, the association you created to create an awareness around vitiligo. And how do you, how was it for you growing up? When did you find out about this? And how did you actually tackle and handle this whole situation?
Well, where do we start? So, of course, now everybody knows me as the advocate for vitiligo on the island, but we started at age 5. At age 5, I'm a daughter of the soil. I'm a Swaligan, and at age 5, a spot appeared on my body, a spot that began to grow, and a spot that changed. Not a spot, when you say a spot, well, a white spot. Let's be realistic. It was a white patch, and at the time, no one knew what it was. The doctors here had no idea what the name was, and my parents, in the beginning, thought it was, like the doctors would say, eczema. And we tried the first treatment, but we realized gradually it spread. It continued to spread. And we ventured off to Guadeloupe. And there at age 7, I would say I was officially diagnosed of a person or a patient with vitiligo.
So, let's say you said at the age of 5 is when you discovered a white spot that came up on your skin. So, which means prior to that, you had no clue.
No clue. Prior to that, there was no clue because prior to that, I was just a beautiful Caribbean black baby, or yeah, brown skinned baby, and beautifully living my childhood.
You're still beautiful, darling.
Thank you.
You're very much beautiful. And for those who don't know you, they need to know that you have a beautiful soul, beautiful inside out. So I just want to put that in there. So, as I mentioned, you know, growing up, like you said, that all of a sudden you have this
The change.
spot that comes up on your skin and it changes, and then you grow into, okay, now this is a part of me. How challenging
Oh,
had that been?
it didn't go, this is a part of me. It became a part of me when I accepted it. But let's track back. So
Okay.
at age 5, it appeared, the spot appeared on my face. And then that's the reason why in the Vice logo, the little girl with the St. Martin patch, it's in her face
Face.
because that's where it first appeared on my body. And so coming back from Guadeloupe, we had to continue life normal. We went to the dermatologist and he said, well, your daughter has vitiligo. There's nothing, there's no cure, point blank. As a parent, I can only imagine what my parents felt
Yeah.
being told that, and coming back to a small community as St. Martin, where people are going to look at your child and want to know, what's happening. So they started in the schools. So you had to go back to school and they had to explain the directress and the different teachers. Vitiligo is not contagious. So that's the
I
first
was actually
question.
gonna get
The
at
first
that.
question is it contagious? Can it spread to other children? All of these kind of things. And of course not. It's not contagious. But like we realize in society when we don't know, we fear. And from fear comes either you're being alienated, you're being stigmatized, or you're going to be bullied. And I got everything, all the symptoms wrapped up in one. Going to school was torture on a daily. It was torture because I too was trying to understand
Understand it.
what's happening with
And
myself.
and here you're at age about
We're talking about age 7, 8 now. We're going into that.
But you said something, and then I would like to get more into details about, actually age 7, 8. I mean, you were in
That would be like grade 2, grade
grade 2.
3. Yeah.
You said example going to Guadeloupe. So here you are in Saint Martin, and there was no way they could have figured this out here, or it was. I mean, at 5 years old, your parents will take that decision, but maybe it was just best to go to Guadeloupe to try and understand and get a faster understanding of what
Diagnosis.
was going on.
Well, the doctor here did not know what it was. And we are still in the time here where we're limited with dermatologists.
Yes.
And at that time, there was no particular dermatologist. It was just your general practitioner you go to see. And they said, well, for more information, maybe you should go and check Guadeloupe. Of course, we lived under St. Martin, which was a commune at the time with Guadeloupe. So that's the reason why they chose Guadeloupe at the beginning. Guadeloupe was not our last destination.
So you started in
We
Guadeloupe.
started in Guadeloupe, and then so we ventured off to San Juan, because again, St. Martin and San Juan, the
Yes.
flights were, very
course.
easy to take at the time with Princess Juliana Airport. I went to San Juan. And there they said, yes, it's vitiligo. They were a bit, I think, based on what I could remember, because it was a long time ago. I've lived 35 years with this now today. They were a bit more advanced,
open.
but still, it was still in the early stages of really finding out and knowing what this is. There's eczema, there's lupus, there's all these other things, skin conditions, psoriasis that they know of, but here is this thing that's happening. And let me explain what vitiligo does. So vitiligo is basically the skin cell and the immune system having a fight. Daily fight. And the immune system is fighting the cells that produces your color, because it's being identified as something bad in your body. So instead of me producing melanin, I'm losing, because it's fighting and it's killing that cell that produces the color. So we went to Puerto Rico, and they, of course, informed my parents that there's trial treatments, which is a cocktail of a cocktail of pills at the time, and of course, any parent would say no.
Exactly.
No, we're not doing that. If it was topical, which is like anything on the
cream
cream, on the
and so forth.
skin, they're
Understandable.
fine with that.
Yeah.
But no. What was happening is we live in the Caribbean, and vitiligo and the sun doesn't mix.
Wow.
So what was happening was I was daily getting sunburned, more and more. Even though you put on the sunscreen, it was not enough protection for me somehow. So that was something that was going on as well. Besides the bullying in school, it's the living, the day-to-day living. So you're gonna go to school. Because of because of my situation, they changed the rules to allow me to wear long
Long
sleeves
sleeves.
to protect my skin while I was in school.
And you
That
think it was also protect your skin, but also protect you as well with everyone. Um,
you would think so, right?
yeah.
That caused more bullying because that
Oh,
caused more attention. What's so special about you?
oh,
Why you get to wear a long sleeve? And I'm sweating.
yeah.
I'm panicking at the time and just wanting to feel
Normal.
normal. Wanting to
At
feel
that
normal.
stage, I mean, like you said, at 7 years old, okay, here you are moving on and going into school, and you have to deal with um, everyone trying to understand because like you said earlier, there's fear that comes with this unknown. People knows not what it is or is it contagious or
Yes.
not, and at the same time, your parents and yourself, of course, because no one knew this prior, is trying to understand what is going on and what is the best healthy, because you said just now, you could only imagine your parents was like, pills, no. If you give me a cream or something, then I can go. So the struggle and the battle and going back and forth was actually real for them as well. But here is you, they still decided that it's best that you go to school because education is important, and you having to face friends. Like you said, you're sweating under your long sleeve,
Long sleeve.
and they want to know what makes you so special. But at the same time, you're like,
I
I
don't
don't
feel
feel
special.
special.
Exactly.
How
Exactly. That
how
that
did you handle
that
that?
is a lot to
All
navigate.
remembering we're between 7 and 10 years
Yeah,
old now,
that's a
8,
lot
exactly.
for a child to navigate because you have that stress. It's an added stress. And every year, whenever you go over to the next class, the new students that are coming in, you get accustomed to the bullies that you have.
Yeah,
But
and
now
that's
you're
a new
getting
one.
reintroduced to new ones. And so you have that stress. You're trying to navigate yourself. You're seeing how what you have is affecting not only yourself, but it's affecting your family,
Family.
my immediate family. I have a younger brother, my mother and my father, because they're like, what can we do? What we need to do? And for, as much as the stress was on me, I applaud my parents for not letting me say, stay home.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. You ain't staying home. You have to go to school. And I hate it. I cried every day because I didn't want to face life. I didn't want to deal with that. So we went on from there. And every year it would be like, where are we going to go next? Because you're searching for a cure, the cure. That's what I was hearing, the
The
cure.
cure.
And
Hoping for a
hoping,
better and brighter day. I mean,
hoping.
when I listen to you and I think of all of that, something image comes to mind. You can correct me if that's not it at all. You're fighting and you're going through with all of this, and you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to accept it as well, because now here it becomes a part of you. No matter how you try to hide it or not, it's not working out. And
Still
this
not part of me.
image,
Still not part of me.
you see,
I'll
so
tell
we're
you when
gonna
it.
get
I'll
at
tell
that
you when it became part of me.
as we get to. So you see example there, the image that comes to mind is that with others looking from the outside and trying to understand the stare, this stare you'll get, like people will just look at you like,
And
what's
run.
going on here?
Some people will
So that's
scream. The
that's what I'm talking
stigma.
about. Yeah.
Stigma.
How was it that? Was it that way of people just actually staring, and
There
how did
was
you handle that?
multiple ways of people expressing how they felt, how I make them, seeing me makes them feel. I dealt with people saying, but what happened to that child? Sometimes we say things thinking that we're using our inner voice, but we're actually using our outer voice, and right in the presence of my mother,
Yeah.
you know, um, to a point where my mom too started to distance herself from social gatherings. So again, it affects you. The stare, the scream. Some people would walk in the room and see me and run back out the room. And I'm not talking about children. I'm talking about adults in these cases that I'm mentioning. But what we did, I kept on with my parents because of course I'm a minor and I have to do what they want to do. And our summer vacations looked like I'm checking into another rehab. I'm checking into another lab that's going to test and see what's going on, probing and taking blood samples. And it was a lot because we're looking for a cure. And we ended up in Boston at the Children's Hospital in Boston. And there they said they had a breakthrough.
Oh,
And at that time, I'm
I was
now,
gonna say at what stage or
now,
what age that
now
was
we're at
being.
least at 10.
Okay,
At 10. The
still very
breakthrough
young.
is still very young. The breakthrough is still again pills. And these pills, the side effect would damage my reproduction
Oh,
organs and different effects they had. And of course, definitely no. My parents, I think I'm speaking for them, I could be wrong. I think at that time they were at their end. But God has a way of sending you
showing
messages
up,
and showing
showing
up
up.
exactly when you need Him to speak to you. And my mom would tell this story all the time. She was sitting looking at RFO and she saw this documentary come up with the doctors in Cuba doing treatment
Wow,
for vitiligo all the way in
in
Cuba.
Cuba.
And she walked up to my dad and she says, Jamais, jamais, we're going to Cuba. So, so we ended up in Cuba. And Cuba was the first place that I went and actually met someone with vitiligo. Because
Oh,
I lived here and there was
no one. I was
nobody
gonna ask you what.
really,
Yeah.
really that I knew. But I met a young lady at the clinic in Cuba. So that was my first, like, okay, it's not only me, kind of, you know, awakening. It's not only you, but Cuba also, the treatment that they had was very invasive. It was topical, but it's
Okay.
made from the placenta. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it has a after scent,
Yes.
and you have to be under light. So you're basically like a rotisserie chicken, and you're lying flat on your back, and then they turn you on your.
Continue working.
And we did that for a complete month, and then you have to return back to St. Martin, but you have to continue this treatment. This treatment is also not covered by insurance at the time.
Insurance.
And we're talking about thousands
The
of dollars.
dollars.
We're talking the flight, everything. It's strenuous on my family. But they came back, they made the sacrifice, and my father, up to today, anything for his children. He's 100% there.
Percent.
So I'm
So you will
grateful.
definitely say a support group. I mean,
Yeah.
I could just imagine your mom sitting in front of the television and she saw this and she was like, "Hey, we are
Right.
going to Cuba," And some people would be like, "Okay, wait, what do your account say? What we have on? Can we handle this? How do we move?" And it's like, no, there's a breakthrough, and I'm just investing it all in my
And we're
daughter, and I
talking
wanna.
about Cuba, which is Fidel Castro,
Yes.
which is,
All
communist,
of that just
communist
came to
Cuba we're
mind.
talking about. So there's a lot of red tapes before you could even enter. You have to ask to get in. You have
Yeah.
a lot of different, and my mother is that type of person. If she puts her mind to it, I guess that's where I get that from too, that drive. But that was my first support
That
team, my
Exactly.
family.
And that shows then, Gerline, as you continue on this journey and all started at a very young age, when would you say, because you keep saying that still didn't accept it, still didn't overcome this, still didn't. When would you say that actually it all started to sink in and you started to how to say, let it be a part or not? You're just gonna tell me that right now. When, at what stage in life
When we
did
came
it hit
back
home?
from Cuba, I'll tell you exactly when it pivoted for me. Came back from Cuba with that invasive treatment, and every 6 a.m. my mother applied it. I had to go to school with that, and when I come back home, 6 p.m. My mother was working at Laraman at the time, so she would come up the church alley, and 6 p.m. we're doing this again. What people don't realize when we use medication, it's to find a result. But looking for that result and searching for that result also puts an added stress
On
on the
yourself.
person that is
Yeah.
taking the treatment. So by the time we went the first time to Cuba, maybe was maybe let's say 75% my pigment was gone. The second time we returned, which would be the following summer to Cuba, I was 98%. So I'm like this right now. Okay. with my pigment.
Yeah.
Actually, almost 1% only
Yeah.
of pigment, original pigment. And I looked at how it was affecting the people around me. I looked at how persons at school was treating me more and more. And I woke up a morning, believe it or not, believe it or not, it's like somebody spoke to me and they say, "You're going to get through today." And I called my parents and I said, "We're not doing this no more." And they were looking at me just like how you're looking at me, like, what is this girl talking about? I said, "We're not doing this treatment no more. I'm tired. I'm tired of searching for something that I don't need to search for. I don't need to search for a cure." And my dad said, "How you mean you need to search?" I mean, it's a question
Yeah.
that any parent would ask
Well, acts,
because
of course.
there's gallons of medication in this room here.
Yeah.
And what you telling me? But they allowed me to say, well, I'm going to swim with the fishes. I'm going to swim with the sharks. And wherever I end up, and that was my time when I decided, okay, I don't know what life has for me, but this is not living. I wasn't living. I was
Yeah.
just existing. So at 13,
I was gonna ask, that was at
age
what age?
13.
13.
At age 13, I don't know if it was the
Yeah.
hormones, the
Yeah,
changing,
say,
the
this
teenage.
teenager.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I also found a very caring and daring person in my life at that time too. Well, a little earlier, but at that time she had enough of my BS. You know, she says, "I don't have this pity party with you. You want to have that pity party, have it by yourself."
And that's a close friend?
That's my best friend. That's
Your
my
best
sister,
friend.
Andrea.
Oh.
And that was, I guess, maybe she too bullied me into being like, "Hey, nothing is wrong with you." And believe it or not, when you start to live, when I accepted that vitiligo is part of me, but it's not me.
You.
It's not
It does not
all of me. It
define.
doesn't define me. I started to live.
Can you say that again? Yeah, it is important. That's what I said. Here you are, 13 years old, and when people ask, when do you do that transition in life? When do you start to accept? Accepting does not mean that
You're fully there.
you're fully there.
Doesn't mean
but it's
that.
a step.
It's a step.
It is a step, and accepting as well, knowing that whatever this may be, it
I'm
does
gonna
not
deal with it.
define who I am. But however, I chose you know, to accept this so I can move on. So that's why I asked you to repeat that again because you said it just now with like, and I can imagine you 13 years old, like.
Yeah. But 13 years, I don't think I had those words, but I knew exactly that was it. Vitiligo is part of me, but it does not define who I am.
Yes. Oh. And even there at 13 years old, making a decision, how did things just change for you
Like I
right
said,
after that?
I started to live. And what living meant and means and still means, you could stare, you could bully, you could scream from here to wherever. You could say all what you want to say and it just drapes down. It doesn't even bounce off me. It rolls off of me. And I'm still doing me.
But was there any time, because I will take my own example, I know that all too well, I'll just walk up my head up high. I choose to demand my days. And however, there's a time that it's still, when you get behind closed doors, it works
affects
you.
It affects you.
So in that process, it's very important that we let people know this.
So you fake it till you make it, basically. You're faking it till you make it. But the more you live it, or the more you fake it, you make it.
Yes.
And every day, like I said, it wasn't easy. And it's a journey. Now you're making me go back into thinking and the journey that I'm on right now, it makes you go back and thinking, how did I maneuver through it? And it's not easy. And I'll tell you, that was teenage.
Yeah.
But when you become an adult and you're applying for jobs and you have at the time 2 complexions, because my vitiligo has a thing that it goes and comes, and you have 2 complexions, and people are interviewing you, but they're judging you based on the person they see, not your resume.
Yeah.
And they're me wanting to be in the hospitality industry of all, I had an experience that it still sometimes it does trigger you because you have triggers. Where I'm studying in Holland hospitality. And a HR professor, she says to me, why you chose hospitality? At the time, I didn't
Yeah,
understand
where
why.
she
I
was
was
going with
like,
that.
because I'm a good student, you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, what's up with this? She says, we can change your hair color. We can change if you're wearing too much makeup. We can make you smile if you're not smiling. But we can't change what we see on you. And excuse me, but I'm like, what are you seeing on me? Because I got to the point that you're so comfortable with who you are that you don't even realize
Yeah.
you have two colors.
Exactly.
Girl, you walking
Yeah.
around here feeling you hot and you know you hot,
Yeah.
but you have two colors and this is what people see before they even know you. And I told her, I turned to her and I said, well, you have me in your class for one semester. At the end of the semester, tell me what you see. And people see the motto that I live by, and the motto is, I do not see color, I see love. That motto was created on that day because I wanted to show her when you see me, you're going to see who I am. You're going to see
Yeah.
the love in me. You're not going to see my color.
Yes.
And at the end of the semester, believe it or not, she came right back to me and she said, you're a lot of things, Miss Isaac,
Yeah.
and I don't see your color. I
I
said,
see
thank
love,
you.
huh?
So that's
Wow.
where that was another, you know,
And it's
pivotal.
good that there's key moment that you can remember because on this journey that you're still able to be the founder of this association that you continue to inspire and educate and so forth. It gives you key realities that you can bounce off of and go back to and be like, if you think you got it hard, let me give you some harsh reality because this happened during my journey. And so today, would you say that with everything that you have
Printer.
been through, everything that you're still trying to figure it out, how is it for you now? Would you say that you reached to a point really where you accept all of this, but your mission is really to educate and help others and encourage others, and that
My mission, I accepted vitiligo, accepted living with vitiligo, but I did not get my mission until 2018. I was not given this vision until 2018. And we had just had Irma in
yeah,
2017.
oh,
So
yes,
when people say 2018, yeah, we
yeah,
had Irma in 2017. 2016, I was online. Again, your acceptance, but you're still seeking some time. Although we are accepting with who we are, we still want to know, is there something out there? Sometimes it's unconsciously it happens. And I ended up 2016 on the web, because now we're on the online, we're on the web. And I found out that vitiligo has a day. Vitiligo has its official day.
the
It is June 25th of every year. June 25th because it marks the day that Michael Jackson passed. Michael Jackson was the
oh,
first pop star in the world who proclaimed to have vitiligo. And then I found out we have conferences. And I said, oh, wow, we do. So I was planning to go 2017 and we had Irma. So out of a job 2018, I decided I'm still going because I had that in mind and I'm still going. Don't know how you're going to do it, but you have to do it. And it was being held in Boston, being held in Boston. And the requirement was to show up where you're from, represent where you're from. And I met with this artist, an illustrator by the name of Wensley. He goes as SXM Vibes. And I told him, I said, I want to show up and I want to show my journey. Let me show you how I want to illustrate my journey. So I illustrated the journey from a child to a big woman to an adult, with the St. Martin being the representation of the vitiligo.
okay,
That
oh,
was one of the
nice,
fundraisers
yeah,
that helped in sending me on this trip. I had no idea the adventure that trip would come with. However, we're going to skip that part and get to the good part. The good part was I arrived
Yeah.
and I was amongst more than 500 persons
Wow.
in a room that looked like
For the first
me
time.
for the first
For
time.
the first time.
So this is like the second time in my life
Yeah.
that I'm, well, no, not
Around.
second time, because by this time now more people in St. Martin are getting vitiligo, but first time with such a
Big
big
audience. A big crowd.
audience.
Yeah.
And it felt like a family reunion.
Wow.
That family reunion did something to me. I came back. The family reunion was one part, but the information
Yeah.
that was being shared did something to me that when I came back, it's like you buy a new car.
Yeah.
And you thought you only have that car. And then when you drive around, you seen a lot of people with the same car. Vitiligo started to pop up in front of
Wow.
me, vitiligans, because
Yes.
that's what we are called, vitiligans. And I'm seeing all sorts of people in St. Martin with vitiligo. And I saying, oh, I need to share this information. I want to share this information. And people would still come up to myself and my mom, like parents that have children,
Yeah.
and want to know
More.
more about
And
what can be done and what is out there. And we always share what we know. And I said, it would do me a disservice if I had this wealth
yeah.
of knowledge and I
Knowledge.
just keep it
Keep
to
for yourself.
myself.
Yeah.
2018, we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Came back home and I'm talking to my mom. I started working for another foundation with the World Bank and put it on the back burner. But
Always.
always, yeah, I mean, I'll get back to
Always.
that. I'll get back to
Always.
that because it's like, okay,
Yeah.
but it's something nudging you. It keeps
Yeah.
nudging you, it keeps nudging you. And 2021, when I stopped working for that foundation, I said, okay,
Time for
I'm
you.
hearing you because there's a lot of different incidents that are happening in between. And if you're not listening,
Signs that
if you're
you
not listening,
ignore.
you're going to ignore it. And if you're not, but although you ignore, it comes back.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's a vision that was given to me. I went to my mom and I said, this is what I want to do. And she said, what are you going to call it? And I started to say vitiligo. I said, this is what I want to do. I want to educate them on vitiligo. I want to introduce them to vitiligo. So vitiligo, I want to educate because I want to go back into schools.
Yeah.
Because I know now today when I see my bullies, my past bullies,
Yeah.
they even come up to me and they say, yeah, you're looking good. I said, thank you. But they were bullies because they were misinformed. They were bullies because they were scared. They're children. And at home, your parents too instill fear in children, So we do educate. I want to inspire. And I want that support that I got from my family. I want to share that with whoever we can share it with. And of course, St. Martin, because we are here on this beautiful island. Yes.
I mean, I know we can stay here and talk for
Forever.
hours, but I have so much running through my mind because, like I said, growing up at the age of 5, just a recap, and you had no clue what it is. And again, even your parents, I mean, they have a healthy baby girl, and boom, this comes up, and okay, how do I handle this? But thank God for that support and that family that you have that was there, and then you continue moving along. Now, this is a little deep, a little personal question. Was it even hard in, let's say, maybe finding love or having someone to actually see as a companion, but accepting you for who you are and not letting this define you or make it you? Like you said, it was a part of you, but it was not you. How difficult was that for you?
In acceptance, I accepted who I was. But when you're finding love, you always wonder, does this person really love me? And I had a little difficulty in the beginning of dating because you don't trust people.
Yeah.
Vitiligo makes you as well, because remember, from 5, you have to scrutinize people because you don't know what the intentions are. And so it made you see people for who they are. And I was very particular with who I let come around me. But there was a time when you're dealing with low self-esteem and you just want to be loved, where you would let anybody attention and be like, oh, okay. But the older I got, the more intentional I became about who I am. Because when I say, oh, it's okay, it means I'm not talking about vitiligo.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you I have vitiligo. If you don't ask me what it is, I don't feel like I need to tell
Tell
you
you.
what it is. But I stopped that. because I need you to know that, yes, this is a part of me. It doesn't define me, but it is a part of me. So I need to know if you
Exactly.
think, because let's start the talk. Men are very curious.
Yeah.
And if you have a, oh, two color, it's like, oh, yeah, that you do get that too.
Yeah.
But this is not a fetish.
Yeah.
This is a lifestyle. This is my life. This is my
Exactly.
body.
Yeah.
And we had to have those kind
A
of
conversation.
conversations. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
As we know as well, you have a beautiful daughter
And son.
and son. So, how is it for them, with them as well? And are they diagnosed with the same thing as well, or
Yeah. So that's the question. When we go into the schools, that
the
believe it
first?
or not, that's one of the not even contagious. They don't ask about, because in the slide the children sees it's not
Yeah.
contagious, but they ask they say, teacher to
Yeah.
me, do you have children? And I say, yeah. Do they have vitiligo? I said, no, vitiligo is not
Yeah.
hereditary. Based on the studies, it's not hereditary. However, there's a 1% chance that the mother, although my children might not get it, their children
Could possibly
could
get.
possibly get it. Yes. And that was one of the hold up as well for me with planning,
To have a
even planning to
family.
have a family, because I'm like, do I want my children to deal with this? As much as I'm comfortable and I'm good, I of course it plays on your mind.
Yeah.
You know, children are not asked to be born.
Of
And then
course.
you're gonna put them in a certain predicament. You have to be very, very, very careful. But again, the support team. My mother started educating my son from a young age with pictures of what I looked like. Because when my son was born, I had two pigments. By the time he was 3, I looked like this. So my son has gone through the transition as well with me. And now he educates the
I
children.
was going to say, did it affect them or anything like that? But again, you keep repeating something that I truly believe in, having a great support team,
Support, the
and
support.
having a circle that is as tight as possible. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy. I need you to know as well, as you explain your whole story, I'm just seeing Gerline in front of me that is always so well dressed, so well put together. So I'm trying to figure out the stages where there was self doubt, where
Oh,
there
yeah.
was I don't feel love. I just saw this person that embraces every single part,
And that's,
and that but matches. I was like, she's always matching, and always with your head up high. I never would see a time. I mean, now we're not buddies and hanging around and see you 24/7, but I must say, and this is why I decided to create this platform, Dare to Evolve, for the simple fact that people need to understand that there's a reality to it. We are all humans, and our actions, the way we treat people, I live behind the motto of I wish that people will do unto others. I will actually do unto others as will I come to do unto me. And I want to say chapeau, Again, like I say, that this is what the platform is here for. So,
if I may say
yeah,
one thing, we talk about the physical,
yeah,
but we also need to talk about the mental,
mental
because
part.
the dressing up,
Yeah.
we dress
Was,
up. When you dress up in your mind, you feel better. It
yeah,
boosts you. However,
it,
depression doesn't have a look. It doesn't
yes.
have a face. So I look very put together, but behind closed doors, there
That's
was
why I
those
mentioned I
moments.
mentioned earlier. I was like, okay, you go through all of this, but are there moments? And
Yeah,
of course, and it was there,
it was
but
there.
that's for spite because I truly believe that there's time like it just get heavy. You're outside, and you know that the bullying and people are staring and so forth, and then you just put up that front to be like, you're not gonna break me. But when you get behind closed doors, it's like, what did I do to deserve all
Deserve.
this? And the questions come in, and the heaviness comes in.
The depression, I had moments of that. We had a lot of that. It affected the mental, and so that's why when we talk about vitiligo, this is just skin,
The skin.
but it's more than skin, because there's moments when you do question. I don't like to question God, but you do question, why was I chosen?
Yeah.
You know,
Why were you part of the
why
1%?
was I part of this
1%.
1%? And you have to have a strong mindset. You have to have that hope. You have to have that faith. Because if you don't have that faith, especially when you're going, and I touched on it a little bit, adulthood, looking for jobs and being judged on your appearance, not your capabilities,
On your appearance.
on your appearance, and having to, every room that you go into, you have to introduce yourself and you have to tell them what your limitations are. My limitations are I cannot be in the sun. If I have to be in the sun, I have to protect my skin. I cannot work in the sun. I cannot, I have limitations. And it can drain you. It can
And today,
affect
would
you.
you say that, I mean, it never gets old? It is a reality.
It is a reality.
You do not let it define you. And I'm happy that you're able to do that difference because it's very important. But is it still heavy? Is it still a big struggle? Is it sometime you still find that pure pressure and
These days, my heaviness is we have vice. This is the
the
association.
association? Yeah.
And you want to help so many people because you're on this end of the spectrum now. And you're seeing them along their journey and still they're not coming forth. They're not feeling comfortable. They're not feeling vulnerable enough to come and say, ah, let me use this tool because I have this tool here and I want to share with you. And it makes me feel a little sad because I'm like, the reason why I want to share this tool with you is because I don't want you to face the struggles that I have. If I can pave the road for you not to put your toe on the rocky ground, why you're not using it? So I do have that struggle with am I doing the right thing? Am I doing enough? Because
But
it's
is you
not.
doing enough for everyone because you want to avoid that pain, you want to avoid that chapter of the unknown. But for you as a person, would you say that, you know what, it's not even settled, but you know what, I'm content with where I'm at right now, and you made these decisions without even thinking, because I know it is. We actually go beyond and think about others and try our best to use this experience because we don't want people to hurt like we hurt. We don't want people to get that type of bullying and a whole 9 years that we went through when now you understand. You're in a position of, you're no longer 5 years old. But grateful that you still have a great support
Support.
team, and you want to share that. You want to be that support team to others. But Gerline today is at a place where
I'm
she
at,
found peace.
I'm at peace.
She found peace.
I'm at peace. I
Very
am at
important.
peace. It's something that, of course, when people say confidence, I have confidence. I exude confidence. But confidence is something that you work on daily.
Yes.
It's not something that you just have and that's it. No, you work on your craft daily. You work on confidence daily. You work on your health, your mental health, your physical health daily to make a better you as a person.
So you actually jumped ahead because I'm going to ask, unfortunately, I just love this conversation and we can stay here and talk all night. And unfortunately, always with time, but we get a chance to come back. Today, at the stage that you're at, where you said you're at peace with yourself, and I love that. I mean, really and truly, today, in this world that we're living in, and all the circumstances, all the heaviness that we carry around, and everyone trying to fit in, and everyone trying to be the best version of themselves, when someone can reach to a point of saying that I'm at peace with myself, that is heavy and that is necessary. What would you still say that you're daring to evolve? What are you daring to evolve here on out?
That is a very, very, oh, what am I daring to evolve here on out? Of course, on my personal journey to see where it leads me, because this is just part of the journey. I'm on this chapter, but I'm very anxious and I can't wait. I'm bubbling with anticipation for what's next. So I'm open to experiencing the evolution of Gerline.
Wow. You have to be around 40, right? Making 40? Making
Yes,
40, making time.
we're
I,
getting
I, I,
there.
I say so, we're
We're
not too
getting there.
far. When you get there, there's a lot of check button that comes on, but I love it. And there's one of my quotes that I use as much as possible. Do not let that fear of the unknown stop you from accessing your next chapter. And that is essential, essential, essential. And that fear can block us so much in everything that we choose to do. And from your journey from 5 years old straight up to today,
I've been kicking in the
you've been
doors.
kicking in the doors of the unknown.
Yes.
So
And I can't swim.
and you no, this is
And
another
I,
topic for
and I
another
can't
day
swim.
because me and water, I can't swim either.
But
I'm very, very grateful and honored that you were able to share this experience and share this journey with me.
and of course,
I see gifts.
for those that know me, they know that I love to share and spread love. So this is a token of appreciation, and because we're daring you to also evolve
Oh my.
with love
And I love it when we say we do
from
not
Vice.
see color, we see love. When we get
yes.
up, I'm going to hug you, I'm going to squeeze you. But before that, I'm going to sign off and say, we have reached to the end of another episode of Dare to Evolve. And my message that I just grabbed from this entire conversation here today, the words of encouragement is that please do not let no one's definition of who they think you are become your reality. That's not true. See you next time.
Dare to evolve.
Thank you. Yes, darling. Thank you.
Nice.